Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday and day 5 of online learning. Just jumping on to go over agenda, do a quick refresher of Tide, set some expectations about the work you're doing today, and then the time is yours. So let's get started. Hope everyone's doing well, staying inside, washing their hands. All right, so our agenda for the day. Our objective is that we will be able to identify an author's claim from a poem and use textual evidence to support those claims. So our agenda, we're going to do a quick Actively Learn tour because I think that we are maybe unaware of some of the resources that they have there. Then you guys are going to read Margaret Atwood's My Life as a Bat in Actively Learn, and then you're going to complete another Khan Academy lesson. So make sure that you're using all of the services that are provided to you. One of those services is that if you double click things, you can define them. And let me just show you really quickly what I mean. So I was finally able to figure out how to get into the student end of things. So this is, you're not reading A Midsummer Night's Dream today, but this is an example of a text in Actively Learn, a student account. So as I'm reading through, there's all these highlighted things. I definitely want to be making sure that I'm clicking those so that I can get a little bit of a background information about what is going on. It will help me understand the author's claim as I'm reading today. Then I can also click on these things, engage with these videos. Like there's a TED Ed about the Amazons, which will set me up for success while I'm reading today. The other thing that I was mentioning is that if you double click on something, I can either highlight and take a note. Wow, I really love this word. Or I might highlight and say, oh, this is a main idea, I think. Then I can come back to these things later, right? I can find my notes later. Also, my notes will be up here. View my notes. Oh, I think this is a main idea. Let me view this in the text. It will bring me right here. Okay, using these features to help you is really going to be key and central as we move into Tide paragraphs. Now, if I double click and I'm like, what the heck is a dowager? I can hear it. Okay, I can also then double click it. Hello. And define it. A woman who has inherited property or a title from her dead husband. Okay, now I know that she lingers in my desires like a dead woman who inherits stuff, long withering out a man's revenue or a man's income. It gives me a little bit more depth and it can allow me to understand the text a little bit better. So make sure you're using those features. Clicking on pink things as well, giving meaning and evidence as opposed to giving that people and events. Right, so going through and making sure that we're understanding all of these things. What are merriments? Let me define it. No definitions found. I can Google it. Okay. Search merriments on Google. Oh, garrity and fun. So high spirits, cheerfulness. So making sure that you're engaging. I can see when you're defining vocab. I can also see when you're clicking on these things. I can see when you're taking notes. So if you're starting to struggle as the texts get a little bit more difficult, I will reach out and say, hey, why don't you try using these features to make sure that you understand the text at a base level that will help with your classwork grade. Okay, so that's just a quick preview about Actively Learn, some of those features now that I can show you on your end. So today you're reading My Life as a Bat by Margaret Atwood, and you're going to answer the questions for those. Remember, today you're going to be looking for author's claim and which side is the author taking. So remember, when we're looking for author's claim and argument, we first want to list out or think about what are the positions that are taken in the story, who's bad and who is good, or vice versa. Then you must support how the author is supporting that position. The author is saying that this person or group of people is better than this group of people, and here's why. And I want you today to use Tide, and moving forward, to use Tide for all of your open-ended responses. So let's quickly review Tide. I've given you an example from a text that I'm reading, a novel that I'm reading. It's called Song of Solomon. So the T stands for topic sentence. That's the claim. And I always, as you know, use the author's name. So I said, in Song of Solomon, Morrison uses the birds flying away at Pilot's death to show her connection to flight in the novel. Sounds good. That's a claim for sure. The I stands for important detail, which is your quote. As Pilot dies in the text, comma, quote, birds carry away into the night sky, period, end quote. That's not the real quote. I just put it in there. D, detail elaboration, explain the quote. Then I'm going to say, this climactic point in the story is used by Morrison along with other allusions to flight, like the name Pilot, to create a deeper meaning behind the character's name. Okay, pushing it further. What is the point of the author using this quote, using this image that I just said up there? Okay, this climactic point, other allusions. I'm letting the reader of my paragraph know that these birds are an allusion to flight for that character. You have to push it further. Then the ending sentence concluding the idea. This is not the only incident of flight in the text, but surely the most significant. Okay, wrapping up my ideas, just putting them in a nice little package, putting a little bow on it, and moving on. If you have questions about Tide, please jump into the Google Meet. I'm there until 10:40, or email me after. So once you're done reading that text, you're going to continue doing Khan Academy. Here are the directions from yesterday, making sure that you are assigned into our correct classrooms so that you can see the assignments. Today, you're completing the assigned pronoun grammar activity, not noun anymore. We're doing pronoun. You do not need to watch the videos unless you need help, but I expect that you do all the activities for pronouns, including the quiz at the end, so that I can see how we're doing with those. If you have questions, I will be in the Google Meet until 10:40. Again, happy learning. I hope that you guys are doing well with all of this work. If you have any questions, concerns about online learning moving forward, we are going to add some different things next week, keep some of the things the same. But if you have any questions, comments, concerns, if you need help, I am definitely here for you, whether it's this class or other classes. And I hope you're doing well, and I miss you guys, and I will see you soon. Have a great weekend and be safe. Bye. Stop recording. Ooh.